chapter, which is Morphology of Flowering Plants. This is the PYQ marked NCERT. All the PYQs in the recent 20 to 30 years has been marked on each and every line. So we can concentrate on those lines a lot which are already asked. Let's start, guys. The wide range in the structure of higher plants will never fail to fascinate us, even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure or morphology. They are all characterized by presence of roots, stems, leaves, fruits, flowers. In chapter 2 and 3, we talked about classification of plants based on morphological and other characters. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, or for that matter any living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definitions. We also need to know about the possible variations in different paths found as adaptations of plants to their environment. Example, adaptation to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you pull out a weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stem and leaves. They may be bearing flowers and fruits. The underground part of flowering plant is root system, while the portion above the ground forms the shoot system. Now moving on to the root. In majority of dicotyledonous plants, the direct elongation of radicle leads to the formation of primary roots, which grows inside the soil. It bears lateral roots of several orders that are referred to as secondary, tertiary, etc. roots. The primary roots and its branches constitute the tap roots, as seen in mustard plant. In monocotyledonous plants, the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by large number of roots. Guys, यहाँ से PYQ आया है, so please concentrate. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system. ये यहाँ पे मोनोकोटिलेडनस रूट की बात कर रहा है. जो मोनोकोटिलेडनस रूट है उनमें जो होती है वो फिब्रस रूट होती है इंस्टेड ऑफ टैप रूट, क्योंकि टैप रूट उनमें शॉर्ट लिव्ड होती है तो इनमें फिब्रस रूट आ जाती है. और जो ये फिब्रस रूट है ये कहाँ से आती है? ये बेस ऑफ द स्टेम से निकलती है और फिर जमीन में चली जाती है. एज सीन इन द वीट प्लांट इसकी एग्जाम्पल है. इन सम प्लांट्स लाइक ग्रास, मॉन्स्टेरा एंड द बनियान, रूट्स अराइज फ्रॉम पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्लांट अदर देन रेडिकल and are called as adventitious roots. The main function of the root system are absorption of water and minerals from the root, providing a proper anchorage to the plant parts, storing reserve food material and synthesizes of plant growth regulators. Here is the diagram of a plant. You can see it. This is the adventitious root example and this is fibrous root and this is mustard प्लांट की मेन रूट जो होती है, लेटरल रूट्स एक्सेट्रा. Regions of root. The root is covered at the apex by thimble-like structure called the root cap. It protects the tender apex of root as it makes its way through the soil. A few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. रूट कैप से ऊपर एक जगह होती है उसको हम मेरिस्टेमेटिक रीजन बोलते हैं, जो मेरिस्टेमेटिक एक्टिविटी के लिए जाना जाता है. दीज सेल्स ऑफ द रीजन आर वेरी स्मॉल, थिन वॉल्ड एंड विद डेंस प्रोटोप्लाज्म. They divide repeatedly. The cells proximal to the region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and responsible for growth of the root in length. This region is called the region of elongation. The cells of elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature. Hence, the zone proximal to the region of elongation is called the region of maturation. From this region, some of the epidermal cells, guys, some of the epidermal cells form a very fine and delicate thread-like structure called the root hair. These root hair absorb water and minerals from the soil. तो जो रूट हेयर है वो जोन ऑफ इलोंगेशन है। आप ये ऐसे भी याद रख सकते हो कि हमारी बॉडी पार्ट्स पे जब हेयर आता है तो वो कब आता है, जब हम मच्योर होते हैं या जब हम बच्चे होते हैं। ओबियसली जब हम मच्योर होते हैं तो जोन ऑफ मच्योरेशन से ही रूट हेयर निकलेगा। आई नो दिस इज वेरी सिली कॉन्सेप्ट बट आप ये याद रख सकते हो। Modification of root. Roots in some plants change their shape and structure and become modified to perform functions other than absorption and conduction of water minerals. They are modified for sport, storage of food, and respiration. Tap roots of carrot, turnip, adventitious roots of sweet potato get swollen store food. तो जो कैरेट और टर्निप है वो भी टैप रूट्स होता है, और जो स्वीट पोटैटो होता है वो भी एडवेंटिशियस रूट होता है। Have you ever wondered what those hanging structures that support a banyan tree are? They are called the prop fruits. Similarly, the stems of maize and sugarcane have supporting roots coming out of the lower nodes of stem. These are called stilt roots. In some plants, such as rhizophora growing in swampy areas, many roots come out of the ground and grow vertically upwards. Vertically upwards, सीधा खड़े होना ऊपर की तरफ. Such roots called pneumatophores help to get oxygen for respiration. ये इनको respiration में help करता है. और ये न्यूमेटोफाइट्स जो है ये हेलोफाइट्स में आता है, और जो ये राइजोफोरा वाली एग्जांपल है एक बार PYQ में पूछी जा चुकी है, तो प्लीज रिमेंबर इट वेरी क्लियरली. As you can see here are some diagrams: asparagus, turnip, carrot, sweet potato. Sweet potato जो adventitious root है ये एक बार PYQ में पूछा जा चुका है. The stem. What are the features that distinguish a stem from a root? The stem is an ascending part of axis bearing branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. It develops from the plumule of embryo of germinating seed. It develops from the plumule of embryo of germinating seed. This stem bears nodes and internodes. जो stem होता है उसमें nodes होते हैं और internodes होते हैं. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes, while the internodes are the portions between two nodes. The stem bear buds which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is generally green when young and later often become woody or dark brown. The main function of stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. जो main function होता है एक stem का वो इतना ही होता है कि वो branches को बाहर की तरफ फेंके और उनमें flowers आए, leaves आए, etc. It conducts water, minerals and photosynthetates. इसमें अक्सर बच्चों को गलती हो जाती है, वो फोटोसिंथेसिस पढ़ते हैं, हालांकि ये फोटोसिंथेटेट्स है, मतलब ये कंडक्ट करता है, ये पहुंचाता है लीफ की तरफ वाटर को, मिनरल्स को, फोटोसिंथेटेट्स को. Some stems perform functions of storage, food, sport, protection and vegetative propagation. इसमें जो PYQ आया वो है stems modify into flat green organs performing the function of leaves. Phylloclads जिनको हम बोलते हैं, जैसे हम ओपन शिया में देखते हैं. Modifications of stem. Flattened structures of open shear. Colocacy. हाँ, the stem may not always be typically what we expect it to be. They are modified to perform different functions. Under stems of potato, ginger, turmeric, zamikand, colocacy are modified to store food in them. They also act as organs of penetration to tide over conditions unfavorable for growth. Stem tendrils, which develop from axillary bud, are slender, spirally coiled, and help plants to climb, such as in gourds, cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, and grapevines. Axillary buds of stems may also get modified into woody, straight, and pointed thorns. Thorns are found in many plants, such as Stress bougainvillea. They protect plants from browsing animals. Some plants are arid regions modified their stems into flattened, open shear, fleshy, cylindrical euphoria structures. They contain chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis. Underground stems of some plants, such as grass and strawberries, spread to new niches, and when older parts die, new plants are formed. In plants like mint, jasmine, a cylindrical lateral branch arises from the base of the main axis and after growing aerially for some time, arc downwards to touch the ground. A lateral branch with short internodes and each node bearing a rosette of leaves and tuft of roots is found in aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. In banana, pineapple, and chrysanthemum, the lateral branch originate from the basal underground portion of main stem, grow horizontally beneath the soil, and then come out obliquely straight upwards, giving rise to leafy shoots. The leaf is laterally The leaf is a lateral general flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into the branch. Leaves originate from shoot apical meristem and are arranged in acropatical order. They are most important vegetative organs for photosynthesis. A typical leaf consists of three main parts: leaf base, petiole, lamina. The leaf is attached to the stem by leaf base and may bear two lateral small leaf-like structure called stipules. You can see stipule on the diagram. In monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants and the leaf base may become swollen, which is called the pulvinus. The petiole helps hold the leaf blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petiole allow the leaf blade to flutter in the wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to leaf surface. The lamina or the leaf blade is green expanded part of the leaf with veins and veinlets. There is usually a prominent vein which is known as midrib. Veins provide rigidity to leaf blade and act as a channel for transport of water, minerals, and food material. The shape, margin, apex, surface, and extent of incision of lamina varies in different leaves. Veination. The arrangement of veins and veinlets on the lamina of the leaf is termed as veination. When the veinlets form a network, the veination termed is reticulate. The veins run parallel to each other within a lamina. The veination is termed as parallel. Leaves of dicotyledons plants generally possess reticulate veination, while parallel veination is the characteristic of most monocotyledons. Types of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised, the incision do not touch the midrib. When the incision of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into the number of leaflets, the leaf is called as compound. A bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound leaves, but not in the axil of leaflets of the compound leaf. The compound leaves may be of two types. In a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on a compound axis, the rachis, which represent the midrib of the leaf, as in neem. In palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached to the common point, example, tip of petiole, as in slick cotton. Phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is a pattern of arrangement of leaves on stems or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite, and whorled. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, sunflower plants. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in Calotropis and Guava plant. If more than two leaves arise at node and form a whorl, it's called a whorl, as in Alstonia. ये PYQ आ चुका है, प्लीज गिव इट अ ब्लिंक. Now, modifications of leaves. Leaves are often modified to perform functions other than photosynthesis. They are converted into tendrils for climbing, as in peas, or into spines for defense, as in cacti. The fleshy leaves of onions, garlic store food. In some plants, such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-lived. The petioles in these plants expand, become green, and synthesis food. Leaves of certain insectivorous plants such as pitcher plant, Venus flytrap are also modified leaf. ये भी PYQ में आ चुका है guys. The inflorescence. A flower is modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes into floral meristem. Internodes do not elongate and the axis gets condensed. The apex produced different kinds of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transforms into flower, it's always solitary. The arrangement of flower on floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex gets developed into flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow and the flowers are born literally in an acrobatical succession. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in a flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are born in basipetal order. ये ज़रूरी है गाइस, ये बेसिपिटल ऑर्डर और रेसिमोस में जो एक्रोपेटिकल ऑर्डर होता है वो दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. The flower is a reproductive unit in the angiosperms. It's meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorls and arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel called the thalamus or receptacle. These are calyx, corolla, endometrium, and gynoecium. Calyx, corolla are accessory organs, while endometrium and gynoecium are reproductive organs. In some flowers like lily, the calyx and the corolla are not distinct and termed as perianth. When a flower has both endometrium and gynoecium is called bisexual plant. A flower having either only stamen or carpel is called unisexual plant. In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic in यानी कि radial symmetry, or zygomorphic bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal halves in any plane radial symmetry passing through the center, it's said to be actinomorphic. Example: mustard, datura, chili. When it can be divided into two similar halves only in a particular plane, it's called zygomorphic. Example: pea, gulmohar, cassia, bean. A flower is asymmetrical, irregular if not divided by any plane in two halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in kana. Kana or kana, whatever. I remember it with the kana, so I said it kana. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous when the floral appendages are of 3, 4, 5 respectively. Flowers with brackets, reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without brackets are called debrackate. Guys, ये जो ऊपर डायग्राम दिया हुआ है इसे 2024 में क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड है. दो क्या कहते हैं इसको, पेरिगाइनस डायग्राम्स दिए हुए थे. इन्होंने बहुत कंफ्यूज किया था बच्चों को. इवन दो मेरे कुछ फ्रेंड्स हैं उनका भी ये क्वेश्चन गलत गया था. तो लुक एट द डायग्राम प्रॉपरली. जो हाइपोगाइनस वाला फ्लावर है उसमें ओवरी क्लियरली ऊपर की तरफ है, बट जो दो पेरिगाइनस फ्लावर्स हैं उसमें एक में ऐसा लगता है कि इसमें क्या बोलते हैं इसको, सुपीरियर इंफीरियर ओवरी होगी, बट नहीं, ये पेरिगाइनस है दोनों. और जो एपिगाइनस वाली कंडीशन वो एक ही है वहाँ पे दी हुई, और उसमें डॉट डॉट दिए हुए हैं. तो रिमेंबर इट बाय दैट. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, and endometrium in respect to the ovary on the thalamus, the flower is described as hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. In the hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position while the others are situated below it. The ovary in such flowers are called the superior, example mustard, china rose, and brinjal. In gynoecium, if gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of flower and located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it's called the perigynous. The ovary hair is said to be half inferior, example plum, rose, and peach. In perigynous flowers, the margin of thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and gets fused within it. The other parts of flower arise above the ovary, hence the ovary is said inferior, as in flowers of guava, cucumber, and the ray florets of sunflower. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. I swear मेरे गले की बैंड बज रही है. I'm just coming by drinking a sip of water. Parts of flower. Each flower normally has floral walls with calyx, corolla, and roscium and gynoecium. The calyx is the outermost wall of flower and members are called the sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like and protect the flower in bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous, sepals जिसमें united होते हैं, और polysepalous जिसमें free होता है. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx and corolla may also be gamopetalous, petals united, or polypetalous. Gamopetalous or polypetalous, petals free. The shape and the color of the corolla vary greatly in plants. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, or wheel-shaped. Aestivation, the mode of the arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to other members of same whorl is known as aestivation. The main types of aestivation are velvet, twisted, imbricate, and waxillary. The sepals and petals in whorl just touch each other at the margin without overlapping, as in Calotropis. It is said to be velvet. If one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the next one, and so on, as in china rose, lady's finger, and cotton. It's called twisted. If the margin of sepals and petals overlap one another but not in a particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the aestivation is called the imbricate. In pea bean flowers, there are 5 petals. The largest standard overlaps the lateral 2 wings, which is in turn overlap the 2 smallest interior petals keel. This type of aestivation is called as waxillary or papillinaceous. प्लीज़ रिमेंबर दिस, क्योंकि अक्सर हम वैक्सलरी याद करते हैं और क्वेश्चन वहाँ पे पैपिलोनेशियस पे आता है और हम भूल जाते हैं. और कील जो है एंटीरियर पेटल है, is composed of stamens. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of stalk or the filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers. The pollen sac, the pollen grains are produced in pollen sacs. A sterile stamen is called a staminode. इसमें से PYQ आ चुका है. Stamens of flower may be united with each other members, such as petals, or among themselves. When the stamens are attached to the petals, they are called epipetalous, as in brinjal, or epiphyllous when attached to the perianth, as in the flower of lily. The stamens in flower may either remain free, polyandrous, or may be united at varying degrees. The stamens may be united into one bunch or one bundle, monoadelphous, as in china rose, or 2 bundles, diadelphous, as in pea, or into more than 2 bundles, polyadelphous, as in stress. There may be variation in length or filaments within a flower, as in salvia and mustard. Gynoecium. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part of flower and is made up of 1 or more carpels. A carpel consists of 3 parts, namely stigma, style, ovary. Ovary is enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube, the style. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is receptive a surface for pollen grains. Each ovary bears one or more ovules attached to a flattened cushion-like placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free, as in lotus and rose, and are called apocarpus. They are termed syncarpus when carpels are fused, as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovules develop into seeds and ovary matures into the fruit. Placentation. The arrangement of ovules within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central, and fecentral. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and ovules are born on their ridge, forming two rows as in peas. When the placenta is axial and ovules are attached to it multilocular ovary, the placement is said to be axial, as in China rose, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovules develop into inner wall of the ovary or on peripheral plant part. Ovary is one chambered, but it becomes two chambered due to formation of false septum. Example: mustard and argemone. When the ovules are born on central axis and septa are absent, as in Dianthus primose, the placentation is called free-centered. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of the ovary and single ovule is attached to it. It's called sunflower or marigold. The fruit. The fruit is characteristic feature of the flowering plants is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a fruit is formed without fertilization of ovary, it's called parthenocarpic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of wall or pericarp and seeds. The pericarp may be dry, fleshy. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it's differentiated into outer epicarp, the middle mesocarp, and the inner endocarp. In mango and the coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovary and one seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into the outer thin epicarp and middle fleshy mesocarp and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. The seed. The ovules after fertilization develop into seed. The seed is made up of seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of radicle and an embryonal axis and one, as in wheat or maize, or two dicotyledons, as in gram and pea. Structure of dicotyledon seed. The outermost covering of seed is the seed coat. The seed coat has two layers, the outer testa and inner tegmen. The hilum is a scar on the seed through which the developing seed were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called the micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserve food material. At the end of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the plumule. In some seeds, such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is the food storing tissue and called endosperm seeds. The endosperm is not present in mature seeds, and such seeds are called non-endospermous. Structure of monocotyledon seed. Generally, monocotyledon seed are endospermic, but some, as in orchards, are non-endospermic. In seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and stores food. The outer covering of endosperm separates the embryo by the proteinaceous layer called the aleuron layer. The embryo is small, situated in the groove at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large shield-shaped cotyledon called the scutellum at short axis with plumule and radicle. The plumule and radicle are enclosed in sheaths which are called coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. इस डायग्राम से भी 2024 में एक क्वेश्चन आया था कि रूट कहाँ से ग्रो करेगा, जिसमें बहुत बच्चों ने नीचे वाला आंसर दिया था जो कि कोलियोराइजा था, लेकिन ऊपर आंसर था जो कि रेडिकल है. ओके, सो दिस इज़ इट फॉर टुडे. इसके बाद फैमिलीज़ हैं जो कि हम एक और लेक्चर में कवर करेंगे क्योंकि नई फैमिलीज़ ऐड हुई है. तो दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे. थैंक यू.